What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 141 of the Chumpcast. Shorter episode this week because I kind of have some other shit to do, but Colin, aka Reverend Rogue 10, stopped by to talk about Zac Efron's latest flick, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. You can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can also call, text, or leave us a voicemail at 847-920-6107. Thanks to our friends at Family Video for sponsoring the show. If you collect DVDs or Blu-rays, you can get some awesome deals through thechumpcast.com/familyvideo. They have insanely low prices on new releases, and they're always updating their selection. I'm looking right now at copies of Into the Spider-Verse, aka the best movie of 2018, Aquaman, and way more, all for under $10. Plus, it helps the show. You can find our merch at thechumpcast.com. Check out patreon.com/thechumpcast for all sorts of bonus content and more goodies. Now, if you'll excuse me, I keep thinking there's something I'm forgetting to do. Something important about this weekend. Son of a bitch finally made it.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's not like it's a busy week or anything.
What kind of dipshit flies Frontier Airlines?
The cheapy peepees.
Do they have like actual pigs and slop in the back, or
I was
flying with a farm animals?
I was the first row actually, which was rare.
Oh wow!
I wasn't able to check in the day before. They still gave me second zone to board, and then I got first seat.
Middle, and then he had to fight. He had to fight two other men via fisticuffs for rights to the seat. The other two were thrown out of the plane at full cruising altitude,
and I won. So,
well, I can assume that since they also booked Frontier Airlines, they are idiots as well.
Yes, I was
the battle royale of airlines.
I assumed when I got there at 6 a.m. that, this is going to suck because, flying sucks in general. And it's a 6 a.m. flight. But then I see that my flight got canceled or delayed 40 minutes. And I was like, classic Chicago weather. I get here, it's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, it's sunny and beautiful. Like, you texted me at 6 a.m. today, Chicago time, and you were like, fucking flights delayed, fucking Chicago weather. I'm like, you've been gone for like a month and you're already kind of shitting on Chicago a little too much for my liking.
No, dude, I just assumed. And then I looked at the board and I just saw every other actual airline had perfect. No, everything's on time. Just Frontier was just.
The Frontier mechanic fell asleep in his glass of fucking Jim Beam in the morning, and he couldn't make it to.
I think it's hilarious.
The runway on time.
That a Frontier mechanic can afford Jim Beam, and he's not drinking something out of a plastic bottle.
Wow.
Or antifreeze.
Jiminy Crickets. We are going harsh. It wasn't even your flight that got delayed.
No, but I have flown Frontier in the past, and I learned to never do that again.
Yeah,
I flew Spirit to LA last weekend, and
doink.
Yeah, I went out to see a good friend of mine that I met playing video games, and he's now an IRL friend. And
he didn't murder you. That's a win.
He didn't murder me. Flying Spirit to and from, had the exit row.
That's
clutch.
I paid up for the exit row, $40, best decision I ever made. Had a pretty bad situation on the way there, though. I'm sitting aisle row in the exit. Perfect spot, right? Maybe one of the best on the plane. Underrated. And there's no one else in my exit row. Like, this is awesome. I'm going to kick my feet up. This is going to be sweet. I've got like 12 episodes of Attack on Titan downloaded. Like, I've just started to get into this brand new, like, I'm stoked. Literally seconds before the door closes, I see a woman bumbling down the aisle towards me. And lo and behold, she had the middle seat. Didn't sit the window seat, sat in the middle seat.
So the window seat was open for the entire flight?
Sure was.
And you didn't say anything to her.
That's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you, dude.
No, it's like 70-30 her fault.
I did. I was leaning from the waist over at a 45-degree angle into the aisle the entire time. This woman was, for lack of a better word, spilling into my seat.
For lack of a better word. Oh my god, dude!
I'm talking seatbelt extender. I'm talking 3 bags of Cheetos on the Spirit Airlines ladies cart,
and she didn't even share.
Didn't offer to share.
That's why you're really mad, isn't it?
I got enough of it on my pants from her.
Oh.
I didn't know if you guys knew this was an ASMR podcast now.
This is the opposite of that. What's the bad version of that? That's what my dog... That's what I wake up to my dog doing in the middle of the night. Just... Like, dude, it's so fucking loud. You are literally an alarm clock.
Spirit Frontier Airlines.
I had a bad Cheeto experience. Just one more divergent here. So I was sitting in the sauna of all places, and this, 30 minutes in probably, so my phone's going to overheat, so I have to put the phone away so I can't listen to anything. So this humongous guy comes in with a giant bag of Cheetos and sits in the sauna and eats a bag of Cheetos the whole time. Is that not the most ridiculous? Why even go?
That feels like
sauna?
A Seinfeld episode.
Or
Larry David. That's like something Larry David, the social assassin, would come out and be like, excuse me.
Yeah, dude, I was about to be like, yo, what are you doing, man? Just
now you're
wait 20 minutes to eat your
crunchy
Cheetos.
Cheetos are now moist and soggy.
Licking his fingers.
The very thing you're trying to get out of your system, your pores, is what you're putting into you right now.
Ugh. Yeah, that bothered me.
He probably went home and was like, I had a really good, productive day today. I sweat out all this stuff in the sauna over another bag of Cheetos. You guys are mean, though. We shouldn't. You guys are fat shaming right now.
I'm not fat shaming.
I'm
fat experience sharing.
Yes, that's a better way to put it.
Fair enough. So, Brick, what is Denver doing right now without his village idiot?
Honestly, probably living a luxurious life in beautiful weather next to mountains.
Really thought you were going to say live in La Vida Loca.
You wish, dude. I guess they're doing fine. I don't know. Their village idiot is
I assume it hasn't burned down yet.
Yeah, that's the village idiot's job.
Well, you are back in town for my wedding, which is tomorrow.
Woo.
Erica has already left. I won't see her again until actually time to get married. Or, I mean, if I decide to show up, or if she shows up, at least. There's still a lot of time for many things to go wrong.
Yes, there is. Plenty. So you nervous? You happy? You excited?
We've lived together for so long that it's just
paperwork.
Now we're just involving the government.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
When you put it that way, it's the least romantic thing of all time.
I just feel that way about marriage anyways. Because, I mean, as soon as we moved in together and didn't murder each other within the first 3 months, that should be the bar that you have to clear to get legally married.
And she tried. She
did
the freaking laundry every day, only when we were recording. And
she's too small to smother me with a pillow. Like, I can just pick her up and move her. So it didn't work.
That's big time. That's how you know the marriage is going to work out.
I know. It's it'll be a fun day. The weather actually looks nice, even though it's been raining for a solid 92 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hope it's fun. And literally the only thing that I care about is that she has a good day. She keeps telling me like, oh, it's our day. I'm like, no. It's not our day. This day is about you and everything that you want. So please just have a good day. Like, of course I'm going to go there. I'm going to try and have as much fun as I humanly can. But
you're not good at that.
My focus is going to be on making sure that she has a good time.
Yes, that's the best focus you could have. Easily.
It's also prepping yourself for the remainder of your life with that mentality.
I mean, like I said, we've lived together 7 years now, so I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If something changes now, I didn't have her sign a prenup, so maybe.
Whoopsie.
This podcast is now
Hang on, I got to call my lawyer real quick.
And we're back 30 minutes later. Ryan's done with his lawyer.
I have the Kentucky Derby tomorrow.
Ooh.
So I will also be dressing up, but not quite as nice as you.
Are you going to wear a fancy hat?
Blue eyes are very nice.
Yeah, I've got another pair of ridiculous pants.
You go hard in the pants department. That was a weird thing to say, but you do.
There's a party in my pants.
Yeah.
Are you inviting me to a party in your pants? Yes.
Matt.
So what's the overall plan? I mean, you just like sit around drinking mint juleps all day? Or?
Yeah, so we have people over, we brunch early, make all the ridiculous food in the morning, start drinking at 8.
Sick.
Then we hop on the Pacific Northwest line out of, not out of Union, but out of the train station downtown, and we go out to Arlington Park. We bring a cooler full of water bottles.
You do like actual horse racing stuff.
We go to the races at Arlington, yeah.
Interesting.
We bet on the ponies. I don't know. I just bet on the name. I don't know anything else. And then we get belligerently drunk from 8 in the morning till about, we usually catch the 4:30 home.
Mm-hmm.
Back to my apartment by like 6. Change, try to rally. We usually lose about half of our army at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back out and make really bad decisions for the rest of the night.
There's a lot going on this weekend, like Cinco de Mayo, Kentucky Derby, Cubs Cardinals are in town. Are the Sox in town? Yeah, Red Sox are in town too. Wow, it's probably should have picked a different weekend, but we saw May the 4th and we were like, well,
got a party on Cinco de Cuatro.
Yeah, pretty much.
Star Wars Day, baby.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I say Arrested Development Day. News to us. Boop.
I guess we can actually start the podcast. For those of you that don't recognize that voice, if you're a new listener, that is Colin, aka RevRogue10. Follow him on Twitch, on Twitter, on Instagram. You got a tournament coming up?
That tournament.
Is that something?
Yeah. So we'll be live streaming May 18th. A $60,000 Apex tournament on console live from Washington, D.C. So you can check that out on the Instagram page. We'll have some links to some places to watch it, as well as on the Twitch.
Can I just yell obscenities at your competitors?
You sure fucking can.
Well, I mean,
I encourage
I know
it,
that
actually.
I can, but will they be able to hear me, is my question.
No.
Okay, well then.
You can type them, though.
You can type it as loud
That
as
I
you
can
want.
do.
Actually, until the caps.
Brick, did you ever go to soccer games with us in college when we would just sit behind the opposing team's goalie and say terrible, terrible things?
Oh, yeah.
Those were good times.
Yeah. Do you remember the time where we did the entire, what was the dodgeball Purple Cobras from the corner house all the way to the stadium?
That sounds right.
We did that for probably, 10 blocks?
And then our soccer team probably went out and lost anyways.
Shut up, percentage.
Anyways, back to the news. Let's start with the newest, most terrifying horror film that I've seen in a long time, coming
Sonic?
from Paramount. Talking Sonic the Hedgehog. Way to step on my joke.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Didn't know. I guess I know you too well.
I assume you guys watched this.
Unfortunately.
Feels bad.
Initial reactions? Just as
I
that?
had a bad feeling at the bottom of my stomach when I watched this. I wanted it to be good, but I wanted it to at least be fine, I just could not
I
handle
would like for it to be good. I'm okay with
crazy.
it being fine, but it looks just, Sonic looks like he's a 48-year-old middle management alcoholic.
Jim Carrey looks cool.
Jim Carrey
Jim
is going to
Carrey's-
carry the movie, I think.
No pun intended. You were saying something about the executive producers, yo, we hear you.
Yeah, so I saw something on Twitter the other day. Somebody rendered a actual representation of Sonic, and they're like, hey, this is what he should have looked like, and this is how badly you guys botched it. And one of the graphic designers on the movie came over the top and said, yeah, we get it. We're going to work really hard to make sure this is right. I don't know if that means anything.
So they're taking steps in the right direction, which is awesome.
Well,
Sure.
the voices have been heard. That's all I'll say. 'Cause
But that would cost millions of dollars.
to do an entire movie.
Yeah. I mean, presumably they've already shot the entire thing like this. And if they're just going to go redesign a character in the middle of it, unless they're ultra confident in this turning into a franchise of 3, 5, 10 movies, I really have a hard time seeing that happening. Maybe they could make a small change where they don't give him terrifying human teeth.
Yeah, yikes.
Because that was unsettling.
Don't make him a fat. No, I don't want to fat shame again. This is a fat shaming podcast, apparently. But you're like a fat hedgehog. He usually has the skinny legs, the big eyes, this classic Sonic look. They didn't do that. And I thought that was kind of the least of their concerns, honestly, because I was worried about the writing. If it doesn't have good writing, it's not going to be a good movie, no matter what the characters look like.
Why didn't they just make him look like the cartoon or the video game, though?
That's what everyone's complaining about. He looks like.
I did see that. There's a Twitter user that basically redesigned the entire thing. Was like, this is what it should look like, and he is right.
100%.
The polar opposite of this is what we're going to see next week in Detective Pikachu, where everything looks realistic but still video game enough. It feels like they're more on target than anyone involved in Sonic the Hedgehog.
They're paying the proper homage
Good job.
to the game itself.
To the lore.
To the lore.
of the game.
Exactly. And they're going to do it in a funny, self-realization. They're self-aware of their surroundings and their humor. It's going to be situational. It's going to be awesome. But Sonic needs to take a page out of their book and figure it out.
So I found it. Jeff Fowler is the gentleman's name. His Twitter bio says, masher of creative potatoes, tamer of hedgehogs. He was the lead on this, on the graphic design side. And he said, thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design. You want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Hashtag Sonic movie. Hashtag gotta fix it fast.
Fair enough. At least he's aware of it, and he's not just totally ignoring it like the fucking cinematographer from Game of Thrones episode 3, where he was basically just like, you guys need to recalibrate or get new TVs. Like, fuck you, bro.
People that don't know how to set up their TVs properly, or else you guys would have seen it fine.
Back to Sonic, though. Jim Carrey, Ben Schwartz is a positive. If you don't know, Jean-Ralphio is the voice of Sonic. James Marsden must have the worst agent in Hollywood. Did you see the video? There's a picture side by side. Remember Hop that came out a few years ago?
Where he's with the Easter Bunny?
Another CGI Easter Bunny. And there's a picture of him sitting next to the bunny in a car driving. And then there's the picture of this with him sitting next to Sonic. It's the exact same fucking scene.
Fat Sonic. Yeah.
It's very weird.
I liked him a lot in Westworld, too.
He's great. He's a great actor.
And
he just picks really weird roles.
You agent.
There's one more thing I want to mention about Sonic. Reddit user Crew with 8 O's says, Sonic let off an EMP powerful enough to knock out electronics in the entire Pacific Northwest. So he goes through a bunch of statistics on demographics, how many people are there. Using statistics from Bliss, it's estimated about 1 in 7 babies in the United Kingdom require a neonatal unit upon their birth, aka they need life support. Assuming this statistic translates to the U.S., that would mean 568,000 need this treatment in the U.S. yearly. So he goes through more math and says, this is the population of the Pacific Northwest. 327 million people. 4.5% of the U.S. population, translating to about 25,576 babies. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yes, dark.
This translates to 491 babies in the area where Sonic the Hedgehog immediately cuts off complete power and life support to 491 babies. Sonic is literally a mass baby murderer.
Wow.
Jeez, thank you for doing the math on that. It took a very circuitous route. I think that's enough to put this movie on the shelf.
Maybe that was dark. What a psychopath. Why do that math at all? No one even likes math. Why go through baby killing math?
Well, I mean, if you are going to knock out power to the entire Pacific Northwest, there will be consequences. Plus, I mean, there's panic in the streets, looting, rioting. You just got to assume.
Of course.
I also have to say, Crew, most ICUs have backup generators, so let's maybe take our foot off the brake in terms of calling Sonic.
But it's an EMP. It's not a power outage.
Oh, it was an EMP?
Yeah.
They're dead babies.
Oh, babies are dead. Crew, you're right. I take it back. Take Sonic off the shelf.
All right, move.
Cancel. He's a baby killer.
Moving on.
Sonic the baby killer.
Rest in peace to Peter Mayhew, a personal idol of mine. He made being tall and lanky and speaking unintelligibly into a career.
Was that a good one?
Yeah, it was not bad.
That was pretty good.
Better than I could do.
That was the first try. I'm the best.
Rest in peace, Chewbacca, if you don't know that name. So that's sad news, but that was probably better.
That was better.
Okay. In that's unsurprising news, the Avengers Endgame made $1.2 billion opening weekend.
Peace.
Without Colin's money, surprisingly.
Wow.
So this,
man, come on.
This is far beyond the record for opening weekends, almost doubling Infinity War. Currently over 1.6 billion. And could possibly dethrone Avatar at 2.7 billion, God willing, because fuck James Cameron.
Fuck James Cameron.
Fuck a James
I can
Cameron.
get behind that.
I'm going to go see this again on Monday. Since Colin hasn't seen it, I can't talk about any plot points. But when are you actually going to see this movie?
Monday would be a great day for me.
Get on that. See it in IMAX.
You should, and double.
I hate IMAX.
Really?
Can't see
Even if it's not 3D?
And 3D.
Doesn't matter.
3D
Get it away.
and
It's too much.
Okay.
Sensory overload. I'm a simple man of simple pleasures.
I feel like that's how this movie was made to be taken in.
I'm going to stop right there.
Okay. Thank you for stopping there. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, a.k.a. Lord and Miller, have signed a 5-year deal with Sony, presumably to develop a litany of Spider-Man animated properties.
Yes.
How many instances of Spider-Ham do you have to see before it gets old?
See, I don't think they can do a Spider-Man or Spider-Ham origins or like how many iterations do you think? I could see Spider Noir.
I could get one movie. You're talking Spider-Ham, right? The big spider.
I'm guessing that these are actually going to be TV shows in like 30-minute cartoon increments.
Okay.
That would make the most sense.
I agree.
A theatrical release is probably a tall order, even off of the success of Into the Spider-Verse.
I think they can do theatrical releases with more based off of like just Spider-Man itself. I don't think they can do the different iterations like Spider-Ham. They'd have to pick and choose carefully.
I think you could do Gwen Stacy.
Yes.
Spider-Man Noir is probably a long odds, not going to be very good. Plus, you're not going to get Nick Cage to do that. But
True.
speaking of Nick Cage, though,
go ahead. Let's move past.
As soon as Disney took over Fox, it also gained the majority share of Hulu. It used to be it was split up between NBC, ABC, Fox, and a few other like small partners. But now Disney owns the majority, and that also means we're going to get a lot more Marvel on Hulu, including Ghost Rider and Marvel's Hellstrom. Nobody knows Hellstrom. That's fine. But everybody knows Ghost Rider from Nicolas Cage.
Obviously.
That's the only way I'm going to watch this show.
Is it Nick Cage is in it?
Yes.
I don't think he is he?
No, probably not.
Okay. Then it's poop. I don't really care about Ghost Rider at all. He was very meh for me.
No, he's
Even
a
with
good
Nick
character. He's the tortured soul that goes after bad guys. I don't know. It's really a hard sell. His head catches on fire. That's cool.
That's neat.
He rides a motorcycle. He has a chain.
I'm not a big biker gang guy. Like Sons of Anarchy didn't do it for me. I was just like over it.
I mean, it's not about the motorcycle.
I know, but
he's a flaming skeleton.
It's part of it. Okay. You know. What's the other one? Hellstrom?
Hellstrom. It's a brother and sister. It's not a very compelling story, to be honest. I've never read any of the comics, but
okay, whatever.
Last bit of news, there's a rumor that Keanu Reeves has joined Hobbs and Shaw as a mysterious character destined to be revealed towards the end of the movie, with ties to the film's main villain, Idris Elba. Does Jason Statham accidentally run over his dog?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
What, assuming that the studios could work this out and the properties could cross over, how many billions of dollars would a John Wick versus Fast and Furious franchise make?
That would rival Marvel.
No, it wouldn't.
Probably not, but I like the hyperbole. Yes. I would obviously go see that immediately because it's two of my favorite stupid over the top things.
That would be the most insane movie of all time.
It would just no longer be Fast and the Furious.
Well, I mean, it already isn't. It stopped being about cars after like the fifth one,
which is too bad. R.I.P.
Cars were lame. That's a bad take.
You're a bad take.
Yeah, that's why they were awesome.
That was the entire reason they got made in the first.
They were it was just different, and then all of a sudden The Rock comes in and goes, "This is an action movie, baby."
Rock saved the franchise.
I have to disagree, but
wow.
Since we are talking Hobbs and Shaw, Brick, you wanted to take a look at some of the upcoming movies because it seems like we got a pretty full slate until at least September.
At least September, and then in October we have like the Joker still, like
It Chapter 2.
Oh yes,
Joker.
Like we're
Lion
slated.
King.
We're slated until like December. Like the 20th is Star Wars.
Yeah. So I already got my tickets for Detective Pikachu because I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I think it's going to break the curse of bad video game movies.
Let's hope. We need it
because Sonic doesn't look like it's going to do it.
Not our savior.
I need Master Chief.
Yeah.
Live action badly.
That's going to be original on
Halo
Showtime.
Yep.
Yeah, I need that. I need that like now.
So good.
So Detective Pikachu next week. John Wick 3 the week after. Obviously going to see that. Aladdin the week after that. Also Brightburn, the James Gunn produced movie where it's like Superman if he was a kid and also kind of a dick.
Yeah, I'm so.
But it's not actually Superman, right? Basically Superman, but not Superman.
So basically, for a really long time, any time that you were trying to sell a superhero movie, it was this is Superman, but like this is Superman, but he's evil, or this is Superman, but he has daddy issues, or whatever else. So that's kind of like the common trope.
That's a big 2019 Superman with daddy issues.
Well, at the end of May, Superman, if he was a giant lizard, Godzilla. Never thought of it that way, did you?
Wow.
That's gonna be a good theater movie, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to see it in the theater.
You got to see that in IMAX.
Yep. Sensory.
I'm going to trick you into going into an IMAX theater.
Yeah, I won't do it. I'm not going in there.
June 7th, Dark Phoenix, which is probably going to suck, but I'm excited for it anyway.
I'm excited for it.
Dark Phoenix?
And Secret Life of Pets 2, now that they've dumped Louis C.K.
I love Secret Life of Pets.
Wait, so what's the other movie that week? Is that's the same as the...
Same week.
Okay.
Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, June 7th. Then we've got Men in Black, June 14th.
Woo. Oh, God.
We also have The Dead Don't Die, which we talked about with Adam Driver, Bill Murray, all-star cast. For some reason,
It's a zombie movie, right?
Selena Gomez is in it. Yeah.
But it's a comedy zombie movie?
It seems really deadpan.
Dry humor.
Yeah.
Right up Bill Murray and Adam Driver's.
But the cast is ridiculous.
It's looking really good. I like the concept too.
Yeah. June 21st, we're up to Child's Play and Toy Story 4.
That same week?
Yes.
It's ironic.
Crickets.
Child's Play is going to get slaughtered. But did you see the newest poster for Child's Play?
Yes, very
where
creative.
It's Woody, if like Chucky's carrying a knife and dragging it, and you see Woody's corpse in the background. Clever marketing.
Yeah, no, it was great. I saw that too.
But if anything, it should be Woody dragging the Chucky doll.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get slaughtered in the box office.
Yep.
I can't do that.
So we're almost to July. Then there's Spider-Man Far From Home. This is going to be the wrap on this phase of Marvel. Then
Tom, what's his?
Tom Holland, yeah.
Holly?
Tommy Holly.
Tanny?
And then we get into Lion King, July 19th. Dora the freaking Explorer,
Lit.
which is going to be the Tomb Raider movie we never got.
Factual though.
Oh my.
Into August, Hobbs and Shaw with The Rock, obviously. We've got New Mutants, which supposedly is finally going to get released.
Oh, is that right? That's going to be the worst movie of all time. That's going to be the worst movie that's been listed so far.
It has to be. Otherwise, they would have released it already and cashed in, and it just doesn't make sense. The scary stories to tell in the dark, you know, we're getting towards the end of the list here, but there still could be movies that are announced in here, and also this excludes anything original from Netflix or HBO or Hulu or whatever else.
Yeah.
So we've got a full summer.
When does Good Boys come out?
Beginning of July. Our buddy Chuck at Chuck Load of Comics had a screening of, I believe, the first episode on Thursday.
What? The first episode?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Seth
I'm thinking
Rogen.
of The Boys.
The Boys,
Which is the Amazon Prime show.
about the superheroes that are kind of like The Watchmen, but funnier, I guess.
More edgy somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Good Boys. August 16th.
Beautiful. Put that right in the middle of there. But that is a freaking slate. Best.
We the best!
Worst.
The worst! He's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
My worst man alive is Brick,
AKA Doodoo Butt.
who just ripped a massive one. Thank you very much for that. That was unnecessary. At least we're not in that tiny ass room that I used to have in my old apartment anymore. That was bad.
Yeah, that would have been a murder spree of poop and walls.
And me murdering you. Remember when we used to have to sit in there and we couldn't turn the air conditioning on because it was too loud?
Yeah.
That was kind of miserable.
So hot.
Yeah.
This is so much better.
Slight upgrade. Colin, as our guest, would you like to kick this off?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be doing a worst man alive. A gentleman by the name of Fabian Wagner, who is the cinematographer who shot season 8, episode 3 of Game of Thrones. This asshole came out and decided that not only is he going to deliver us a pitch black episode for 60 of the 80 minutes, but he's not going to apologize for it and call all of us basically peasants for not having the best televisions on the market. So fuck that guy, fuck that episode, and that's my worst man alive, Fabian Wagner.
Way to double down on being an asshole.
Seriously. You guys are just poor and dumb and don't know how to you don't know how to fix your TVs to make them proper. So it's not my fault. You guys are dumb. Idiots. Idiots.
If you haven't heard yet, by now our season 8, episode 3 commentary is out. I took a very hard stance against it. I understand that a lot of people still like the episode, but I'm not sold on it. I was very upset by that. And it really did detract, not only from the first time I watched it, but also the rewatch. I was like, you know, HBO's website is probably just getting slammed right now. HBO Go's probably, you know, they're struggling to get all this out there. I went and rewatched it. It was still bad.
Yeah, I had to literally change TVs.
Ungood. Brick, what do you got?
I'm doing another worst type of people alive. And those are Uber drivers that drive under 60 on the highway. Because I'm not trying to sit in the back of your car while we're getting blown past by freaking semi-trucks. Just drive like a normal person. God damn it. Also, it's a pain in the ass to get them in Ubers at O'Hare Airport. I just can't do it. Every time they say that they're going to meet downstairs or upstairs, they're always the inverse.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense to me because I've taken Ubers out of O'Hare a bunch, and You can only meet them in one spot. They designate it as the rideshare pickup spot.
No, the guy who's talking. Just know your customer here. Look who's talking.
I
Look who's
guess.
saying it,
Fuck you, Colin.
We posited off air that it was probably a serial killer, not a real Uber driver. And he saw Brickett in the back. He's like, this is too much work.
Yeah, I'm a 250. You gotta. That's a lot.
Can't dig a
lot of dead weight to carry around.
I can't dig enough holes to bury the body parts. This is annoying to me.
Plus, he won't shut the fuck up.
I am the
He's
opposite.
all fidgety and shit.
I'm listening to podcasts aggressively with my earpieces in. I do not want to talk to the Uber drivers either. Don't talk to me. Drive me.
Is that better or worse than like a haircut person, a barber, if you will, talking to you about your life story when you just want to sit there and get your haircut?
I close my eyes.
Taking that.
That's a power move.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Do you actually fall asleep?
No, but I think it's very relaxing to get your haircut.
Feels good.
The buzzer. Yeah. And then they know. I don't go to people that are too socially awkward where they're like forcing their dumb smut about
smut, huh? What kind of barbershop are you going to?
Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
I'm sucking. Anyway.
I actually like my barber though. I've been going to the same guy for a while, and he's pretty cool, but he also knows, like, if I'm in a mood where I don't want to talk, he can tell.
Yeah. That's usually most people. Sometimes
some people.
I would just close the eyes. That's the international signal for don't talk to me.
All right. Well, you guys were overwhelmingly negative this week, but
here comes the spotlight. the shining light.
Did you guys, and I know neither of you really care much for baseball, but there was someone at a Dodgers game this week sitting in the stands, and you see a video, sometimes they follow a foul ball into the stands and somebody makes really a cool catch or drops everything. This guy dropped everything. He had like a beer and a huge thing of popcorn, dropped them both. An inning later, same guy, slightly different spot, another foul ball, drops a full slice of big ass pizza.
Dude, the ballpark food is not cheap.
Exactly. So this guy's out like $40 if you're at Dodger Stadium.
Did he get the foul balls at least?
I don't know. They didn't really follow up on that, but I hope that, like Cody Bellinger or something gave him a jersey. Just be like, man, you've got really shitty luck or great luck, depending on how you look at it. Maybe he was really excited to catch a foul ball.
And hopefully he got it. Because if he didn't and he just wasted all that food, that's like the worst day at the ballpark. What's the most comical food to just be like throwing up in the air? I think popcorn's got to be up.
Popcorn's
just because of like the spread.
The bloom on popcorn is incredible.
That's why Benny the Bull dumps that giant bag of popcorn on somebody at the Bulls game.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think popcorn is definitely a top tier.
Or a beer, because a beer, I mean, the splash effect is.
And then you're sticky.
Nachos would also be quite comical.
Mm-hmm.
The cheese factor, because you're always getting that yellow cheese everywhere.
You've got the mixture of the liquid and the solid.
And if you got some jalapenos on there,
then it's a health hazard. That's hit somebody in the eye sitting next to you.
Blinding at people.
So are either of you the kind of guy that would like dive for a foul ball at a game? Or you just get out of the way?
If it's at me, I'll go for it, I guess. But at the same time, I did get a foul ball once. It was at a Brewers game. Brewers versus the Marlins in 2003 when the Marlins won the World Series. But this line drive, it was an absolute screamer down the first base line. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't even realize because it wasn't even hit in my section, but it bounced off some lady's face and landed right behind me. And I just was like, oh, sick. And I'm just like raising the foul ball in like triumph, and everyone else is like standing up like.
Meanwhile, she's being carried off on a stretcher.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, this woman's cheekbone's broken.
Yeah, and then my aunt was like, yeah, normally if that happens, you should give the ball to the person who got hit in the face, but since she doesn't know we have it, we'll just keep it. And I was like, sick.
Wow.
I won't jump or do anything crazy, but I'll try and catch it. I'm a big fan of trying to steal the t-shirt cannon t-shirts from little kids. Do like a little.
You're a reverend, right? You only place one on TV.
Yeah. Those are the Bulls games where they come out with the cannons, or like when they drop from the ceiling with the little parachutes.
Or the burritos.
Yeah.
The burritos they drop from the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a big fan of trying to be like, yoink. Done it a couple times. I always give it back, but it's fun to see their expression immediately.
You got to assert your dominance.
I'm a sicko.
Yeah, a little bit.
You are a sicko, dude. Wow.
My deepest regret about this wedding that I'm having tomorrow is that I did not get a t-shirt cannon before.
That'd been a power move.
I looked at them online. They are quite expensive.
Really?
Yeah, like a few $1,000s.
Damn.
Yeah. Probably could have fashioned one, but it would have exploded and killed me on my wedding day, and that's Erica probably would have been mad.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of paperwork involved in that.
a little bit. All right, let's talk about our movie review for the week, which is...
Speaking of psychos.
I have to look this up, too, because it is an extremely long name.
Extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile.
No, I know that you're here, but what is the movie we're reviewing?
Very funny.
Got it?
Very funny.
Uh-huh. How apropos. Brick is back for this.
Yes.
So 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, 68% from fans currently. Not bad. This is directed by a dude named Joe Berlinger, who has a really interesting film history. If you're familiar with the West Memphis 3 story, you know Paradise Lost. It was a movie series that was released probably about 2 decades ago now that reopened the investigation that got one of these West Memphis 3 kids off death row and also the other one out of jail on an Alford plea. If you don't know the story on that, it's really interesting, and this was expertly done, but eventually what it did is draw enough attention that they raised the money to appeal these cases, get real lawyers, and go against and show the negligence of the Memphis Police Department.
That was such an interesting story. I remember hearing last podcast on the left did a deep dive into it, and I was like, how did this go? How did this even happen?
Yeah, this guy has really weird taste because he also did the Tony Robbins documentary, I'm Not Your Guru, on Netflix, which I can recommend. It's pretty interesting stuff. And also he's being sued by, I think, Chevron. He made a movie called Crude that showed just kind of how oil companies fuck you and called some people out by name. And that's been an ongoing legal battle for some time. But if you like this and you like the style in which it is made, I can recommend all of those things, but we'll get to that later. Mark is not here, but someone always has to talk about the jackness and murder that happens in a movie. So, Brick, you were pretty adamant about speaking on this earlier.
Well, I think Colin can speak to the jackness. I will speak upon the murder because I'm a pure psychopath. I think there needed to be more murder in this. It's like I've seen too many Ted Bundy documentaries to see the footage of him in the courthouse and stuff like that. I wanted to go in there and I wanted to see a Hollywood recreation of how he murdered all those sorority girls and how he murdered and kidnapped all these people. I wanted the Hollywood version of that.
True sicko.
True sicko.
Real fucked up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should mention this is sort of a retelling of the Ted Bundy story from a interesting point of view.
It's taken from the point of the view of his lover.
It's kind of an omniscient viewpoint, but in going through the details on this movie, you see that Zac Efron is one of the executive producers. Also, this movie is starring Zac Efron. It's kind of like when Ben Affleck directs a movie and Ben Affleck is the Mary Sue.
Sure.
Who can't do anything wrong and is super handsome and shit and definitely doesn't die.
Super handsome.
Unlike Triple Frontier. Spoilers. The jackness. Colin. We did see Zac Efron's butt.
We did.
It's not a bad dumper.
Jesus Christ, dude. That might be the funniest thing you've ever said on this podcast.
That'll be a drop.
Not a bad dumper.
Oh my God.
Lord almighty.
Jackness rating on this whole movie, I had 3.1.
Yeah, not a whole lot to speak of there.
There was nothing that got me out of my seat excited. Even like the suspenseful moments weren't super suspenseful.
My seat excited. That guy's so jacked, dude.
That's reserved for The Rock and The Rock only.
Well, you know, to put it in perspective, right, a 10 on the jackness scale was when Liana Mormont did her damn thing.
Yeah.
Last week, I was out of my fucking chair,
Yeah.
brother. Right? This was me this morning in pajamas watching this on my couch with my dog, and I'm like, he did a thing. There wasn't anything that really gets the people weren't really going.
Very true.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted more of it. I wanted it to. It was extremely boring, shockingly weak, and lame.
Born to be mild.
I thought you were a sucker for a period piece.
I am, but I mean, I wanted blood. I wanted fucking people murdered. I wanted to see that hacksaw. Sorry.
Wow. Okay. Feels like Mark's really here. So this begins sort of. It's almost chronological, but not really. It has some jump cuts. By the way, the cop that arrests him in the very beginning, James Hetfield from Metallica, for some fucking reason.
Didn't even catch that.
Didn't catch it.
I mean, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't looked through the cast list, but I was like, James Hetfield, where do I know that fucking name from? Yeah, it's Metallica.
Wow.
But basically, we're following Ted Bundy, a.k.a. Zac Efron, as he manipulates everyone around him, specifically his longtime girlfriend, whose name is escaping me, but
Liz,
her friend, who is Clementine from Westworld, is trying to tell her what a psychopath this guy clearly is. And I don't know, there's not really any spoilers here. There's nothing to spoil because this is a well-known story of Ted Bundy, which also is kind of my complaint because I don't know who this movie is for. If you know the story of Ted Bundy, you already know that he did all these horrible things. And this story is trying to make it seem for the first 2 acts as though he is innocent.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, and that problem that I had for the first 2 acts of the movie was I was like rooting for Zac Efron, and I know what happens, and I know how much of a psycho Ted Bundy actually is, but I was like, I'm rooting for him, and I didn't like that I was rooting for him.
Well, a lot of people actually did root for him when he was on trial, though.
It's true.
And I think one of the things they did really well in this is showing what a media circus his whole trial was, because that was the first of its kind. You know, think pre-O.J. Simpson.
True.
That was not a common thing.
In those first 2 acts, as you guys mentioned, they not only did they not condone the murders and the kidnappings and the activity, they didn't show any they gave no evidence to the viewer that he was the one who was doing it. So if you had never heard of Ted Bundy and you got no fucking idea what's going on, like, there's a very high percentage chance that this guy didn't do it. I don't know a goddamn thing about him. They didn't show in the movie one single time him committing a crime in the first 2 acts.
And they just showed him getting his life taken away and like how terrible of a life Liz had afterwards, which she did. I thought she did a really good job. The acting in this was really good. I thought that Zac Efron was spectacular when it comes to like taking on Ted Bundy. Like, you can tell once he stopped talking to Liz and she stopped answering his phone calls, there was a little bit of a change in his attitude. He was more shifty-eyed. He he lost a little bit of weight, but like, you could tell in his demeanor that he was really kind of locking into the Ted Bundy persona. And the acting was spot on, at least.
Back to my point, though, is who is this movie for? Because it's not for people who know the Ted Bundy story, and it's not for people who don't know it. And that kind of covers everybody.
I think this movie was for Zac Efron.
Yes, probably.
I think this was him displaying his acting abilities, his range. I think it was him saying, hey, look, Ted Bundy was a pretty boy. Guess who's also a pretty boy? Let's make this movie really about the pretty boy.
I am a super pretty boy, and he was a super pretty boy.
He's a very pretty boy.
I had no problem with that.
Very cute.
It was kind of weird, though, that Liz trades off Zac Efron for Haley Joel Osment at one point.
Roly-poly-oly.
Go full opposite if your husband's a full murderer. You know, you can't go for the hunk after he's murdered people. You kind of just got to be like, all right, I'm going to go with this safe choice.
I need a squeezing pillow.
I suppose.
Yeah.
So, Brick, what was the best part of this movie?
That's a good question. I think for me would honestly be I thought it was actually funny when he meets Carol in the jail, I guess. And they just no touching. I just thought of Arrested Development.
Yeah, absolutely.
They said it like 4 times. I get it. But no, probably the ending, honestly, because the ending actually did catch my attention because they finally did show some murder, but
we're just looking for blood.
Seriously,
I'm a bloodlust psychopath. Yeah, but no, it was finally like her confronting him for the first time, really, and then him letting go of her by the way he explained it without explaining it.
Whatever you just said made 0 sense.
If you see the movie, you'd understand. You guys saw the movie, so I don't know.
Yes.
I just liked the way that he finally let go of her, as in let her live her own life and kind of told her that he actually did do it.
Yeah, she definitely is probably totally fine after all this happened.
Yeah, she's thrilled with her life and existence.
Colin, what was the best part of this movie?
Maybe to articulate what Brick was saying a little bit more was the scene at the very end where he's talking to Liz through the phones and the glass. I thought that her acting right there and how she was demanding that he let her go because she had been so captured with being in love with this psychopath that she had no idea of the truth. So I think, and this maybe even dives a little more into who the movie was for. This was her perspective. This whole movie was about how she was feeling. It was about the flashbacks to her watching the trial, her getting these hundreds of phone calls and letters from Ted and just not being able to take it and watching her breakdown. And surprisingly, Roly Polioli comes in and is maybe a little spark to her that flicks this light in her head, says, I have to do something for closure. She never had it. That last scene in the movie, the way that she was able to force him almost into that point where he could give her closure. And I didn't know what he was writing with his fingers on the glass.
I did not either. That
to me,
quite a reveal.
That was really cool. Like I thought he was going to write "I love you" or some dumb shit.
That's what I thought too.
Here's this fucking knob again, not telling the truth, lying to her, ruining her life, and then he actually did something for her in the most disgusting, ruthless possible way to give someone closure. Is I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but I cut her head off with a hacksaw.
And then to combine that with all of the montage of every single scene where he's being like a psychopath and kind of had opportunities to kill her and kind of it's all clicking with her.
Yeah, she's almost as lucky as that Dodgers fan who got hit by 2 foul balls.
Yeah. So Colin said that a million times better than I did, so I'll change mine. I thought his first objection, when he objected and kind of pwned his own counsel, I thought that was a really cool scene.
So my favorite part of this movie is Zac Efron playing the litigator that Ted Bundy thought he was.
Yeah.
And part of this is sort of tilted in that light of Zac Efron wants you to see Ted Bundy as Ted Bundy saw himself, where he thought that he was the smartest man in the room at all times. He thought that he was already, an expert legal counsel, even though he wasn't even an attorney. He probably lied to himself enough to make himself think that he wasn't. My dog just fell off the couch by himself. That was adorable. But he's one of those people that lies so much that he begins to believe his own lies. Yeah. And he was such a narcissistic psychopath, and that's why he was able to manipulate everyone and all the women that you see in the courtroom that are like cheering for him when his objection is sustained and everything. That was real, and people have a hard time realizing that. Part of me wants to believe that this would not be possible in today's society, but then the realist in me makes me realize that it's more possible than ever, probably.
Right.
For someone to just, some internet celebrity to completely convince everybody and fool them and make them think that they're innocent and actually a good person.
And that's been, so they came out with the documentary series on Netflix before this.
The Ted Bundy tapes.
Yeah. And there's been a couple of other pieces of, I guess just work that have come out in the last year or so. It kind of bothers me that, number one, he was like beautified and glorified and worshipped, and people were like, he's a celebrity, when he confessed to 30 murders.
And probably more.
And experts say that he probably committed more. And then we go and we make a piece of film work that at the end of it, even with their little whatever black screen like message about murder, I feel like this genre of movie and series and documentary doesn't do enough to condemn them.
They didn't demonize him the way that they should have.
He was still a celebrity through 90% of this. There was literally 2 minutes where Ted Bundy was a serial killer in this movie.
And it was the last 2 minutes.
And it was the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
99% of this film, Zac Efron, Ted Bundy are celebrities.
Damn, like, my first comment in here is literally right off the bat, Zac Efron is so damn likable.
And that's why I almost think this would have been better served as just a fictional movie that is loosely based on Ted Bundy.
Right.
But at the end, you come to find out that it was actually him the entire time and he's not being framed. Yeah. I think it would have been better in that.
That would have been a really cool way to spin the film, but I can't, it just bothers me so much that these people are like, oh, so just because he was a good looking, likable person in real life, we don't need to bring that back up and make that that is now immortalized in our social and in our, just our art world in the United States. And it's like, well, okay, somebody watching that movie now is like, oh, cool. If I kill 30 people and I'm really cool about it, I'll get a movie when I'm dead. All right, bet. Well, maybe we should just stop fucking talking about those people because they suck.
I also take umbrage with the fact that people think Zac Efron looks anything remotely like Ted Bundy.
He doesn't.
Ted Bundy was a normal ass dude. He was not super handsome. People look at him because he wasn't Charles Manson or Ed Kemper, giant serial killer looking person, and they're like, oh my God, he's so handsome, when in reality he was just a normal dude who happened to be a serial killer.
That could speak well.
Yeah. He was a great orator. He had charisma out the ass. The narcissism and undeserved confidence kind of reminds me of you, Brick.
I was going to say dope, but then I realized no.
That was not a compliment.
Yeah, nope. Whatever. The soundtrack was really good in this movie.
I knew you were going to circle back to the period piece thing.
Yeah, dude, they played great music throughout it. I was surprised, actually.
I agree. Music from the 70s, and yeah.
I just wanted to say that just so you didn't compare me to Ted Bundy again, you bitch.
Well, you know who else liked that music?
Who?
Ted Bundy.
How do you know? That's not confirmed.
I don't know. I don't have much else to say about this, so unless you guys do, let's rate it and get on.
Let's do it.
I think this was actually worth the time to watch. I kind of judge Netflix movies on how many times I check my phone during, and I only did that 2-3 times.
Fair. I was in the air. I was in the air, so I didn't really check my phone at all. So I don't know how much that really factors in.
But you thought it was
worth a watch.
Okay.
If you like murder but don't like to see it,
I feel like everyone likes murder now.
Yeah,
the true crime thing is real.
It's huge.
People are super into it. I mean, I'm not a fan of murder.
Video games. Then you're
unless I'm the one doing the murder in an online gaming community. But I would say this is worth. I mean, if you're flipping through Netflix without shit to watch, this would be a decent evening.
Instead of starting The Office for the 20th time, go ahead and give it a watch. I think it's good. It has some really good actors.
You get to see Efron's dumper.
That dumper.
You got a good dumper.
Oh my God.
It's got a lot of great actors. John Malkovich is the judge.
Yeah.
Ed Cowart, and he did a pretty good job. I mean, some of the scenes that they show over the judge.
Yeah, no. Who was the prosecutor?
Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. I don't remember his name.
He's okay.
I didn't really care about that. Did you know that guy's almost 50?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way.
Look it up.
35.
He's looked the same forever.
Yeah, he has. That's insane.
But also, I can't look at him and think of anything other than a laugh track.
Fair.
The acting's great. The writing's good. It's just slightly missed the mark. Still worth a watch. That said, let's get into our recommendations for the week. While you're looking that up, Colin, I'll go ahead and kick this off. I started watching The Orville, which is Seth MacFarlane's kind of Star Trek knockoff.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
Really?
It's funny. Are you mind blown right now?
He's 46.
I told you.
I could believe 46. I think 50.
I said almost 50. What do you think 46 is?
50. I thought you said over 50. I thought you said like 50.
Oh my God.
He looks like he's 35.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Well, good for you. Absolutely.
What's his name? Jim Parsons. Yeah. Anyways, The Orville.
So The Orville, please.
Seth MacFarlane, Adrian Palicki, and a few other noticeable actors that make appearances. I think this is pretty good. It's like Star Trek, but if Star Trek was modern and better. The TV show, not the movies.
Yeah.
Obviously, the movies have been modernized, but the stories they handle are similar to that of Star Trek. Obviously, the setting is pretty much the same. They're on a starship. But it's serialized. It's been through 2 seasons. You can find it on Hulu. Still up in the air as to whether it's going to get season 3. But I think Fox is probably hurting for content right now, considering they just, Disney just bought them and they kind of have some time to fill. So we'll see. Brick, what do you recommend?
So I went and actually saw a movie this week in theaters, Long Shot, the new Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron movie, the rom-com. And, it starts out slow. For the first 15, 20 minutes, they do character building for Seth Rogen being ridiculous and, sticking to his guns the whole time. But honestly, it goes back to like the classic Seth Rogen formula. There's going to be there's pop culture reference jokes, there's sex jokes, there's Hitler jokes, there's one-liners, there's definitely a drug scene. It's all situational humor. A lot of them landed. I laughed out loud about 10 to 15 times, like easily. At times, obviously, the downfall for this was the relationship between Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. Like, it wasn't believable. But at times, I did see how they could kind of make this happen.
See, that's the thing for me. This is like the Ben Affleck or Zac Efron executive producing a movie. Like, of course, he writes a movie where he gets the was she the vice president?
She's basically going to be the president.
Okay. Yeah. So, not buying that.
Exactly. But the fact that it's so ridiculous kind of plays into itself. It's a good movie. because after the fact I was watching it, the people that I went with, we actually spent the rest of the night just like quoting it the whole time and actually having a lot of laughs. So this is actually a movie I would say to go see it in theaters. Honestly, it's actually funny.
Was this
like
better than
It's like right around where Knocked Up should be, like probably just below Knocked Up, but it's like it has some great one-liners that stick, that are funny.
Would you have rather seen this than Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile?
Yeah, I like this better than that movie.
Okay, fair. Colin, what do you recommend?
I've got two. Number one is in the same genre of these, serial killers and murderers. I watched Highwaymen.
Okay.
Which was
Bonnie and Clyde,
but it was more focused on the Texas Rangers reinstated to go hunt them. We had
Woody Harrelson
and Kevin Costner as the bounty hunters, essentially hired back by the Texas government to go and hunt Bonnie and Clyde down. What I really liked about this keys into what I was saying earlier about Ted Bundy was that they did not really glorify through the movie Bonnie and Clyde. Okay. They barely showed Bonnie and Clyde. You don't see their face until the end, but they showed and put a really nice, realization on how America glorified them. And so I thought that was a really unique way to do it. I thought Costner and Harrelson worked really well together.
Woody Harrelson's the fucking man.
He's
good in everything he does.
I really like him.
There's a funny Woody Harrelson.
He's just likable
in Long Shot.
And so definitely check that one out. That one was on Netflix. And then the other one is I started my first ever anime series called Attack on Titan.
Wait a second. This is your first ever anime series?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I mean, I watched like some Dragon Ball Z growing up, and like I don't know if Pokemon counts. I watched that
anime.
Yeah. Pokemon counts, but doesn't really count.
Okay, so this is my first like actual Japanese like anime. It's in Japanese. I read the subtitles. It's called Attack on Titan. Like 18-minute episodes.
They have the dubbed version on Hulu.
Yeah, dubbed versions of anime are bad. They have voice actors that speak English are terrible. I tried listening to it, but it was weird.
Okay.
Really? You can't match the Japanese voice actors' like passion when they're just screaming about nothing, and it's really fun. But I watched it on the plane to and from LA. I got like 20 episodes deep into the first season.
Damn.
Really cool concept. You've got to be into that sort of thing.
It is really fucked up.
It's a very fucked up series.
And a little bit haunting, if you will.
Definitely haunting.
Titans are very haunting.
Yep.
It's a good show, though.
You would be in the first 15-minute episode, you would understand whether or not you'd want to watch the whole series. So in my opinion, give it a check. It's been, for me, it's been a lot of fun getting into it a little bit.
Great. One more recommendation. Get married, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I'm supposed to say something really nice about Erica, but everybody that listens to this has heard Drunk Erica or knows her. And I don't know. They also, if you know me well enough, you know that I was staunchly anti-marriage for a long time, so I wouldn't be doing this, if I absolutely wasn't sure.
Yes, why don't you go out of character for one moment and say something nice about Erica?
I love you. That's literally the only thing I think about. I'm mad. No, she puts up with my bullshit, and that's pretty rare.
It is.
And she checks me when I need to be checked, and we're raising a very small, furry baby together named Remy. And
he's looking super cute right now, by the way.
Dude, he's so adorable. He's
super cute.
Roll off there and fall to his doom. So that's episode 141 of the Chumpcast. Colin, thanks for coming on. I want to plug your stuff one more time. Revenant Rogue 10 on Twitch, Facebook? No, not Facebook. Twitter, Instagram. I see you around. It's fine. And Brick, thanks for flying all the way out here just to do one episode.
Just for one episode.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing else at all. Next week, Detective Pikachu.
Woo.
And until next time.
Comes out, motherfucker.